Janelle, hey,
Hello.
hi. You sound
Hi.
loud and clear. Nice. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. Excited for this event.
Me too. Winnie and the Trizzy has also joined. Oh, Jarif's here. Jarif
Hello.
said he wouldn't be here. Hey, Winnie.
Yay.
Very nice. I think the only person we're waiting for is Mr. Bose.
Howdy.
Hi.
Well, just woke up not too long ago. Can't lie.
I know,
Me
Trizzy,
too.
it's quite
Morning.
an early start for North America. It's even earlier for Winnie. Winnie, it's like 7 o'clock for you now.
Yes, 7:30.
I
Dang,
know.
bro.
I know that's the spirit.
I got Winnie's morning voice. Sounds pretty nice, bro.
The just woke up voice.
Sounds pretty
Yes.
good, bro.
Thank you. Okay. Let me start the event. Oh, did someone start
Oh,
event already? Okay. Very good. Welcome everyone. Welcome. Mr. Bose, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. Glad to have everyone here and see everyone here.
Yeah, it's so nice. It's so nice. You see, we are a global team, and it's so rare to have so many hosts on the stage all together. I have been craving for this, I have to be honest. Now, let's get started. I can see Hunter X, welcome. Relianti, welcome. Vienna, Cluster. Korzen, I don't think I've met you before. Welcome. This is a very special episode of our podcast style stage event. All hosts on stage. Today's gathering is a unique opportunity for all of us in this incredible community to connect on a deeper level. Our objective is very clear today. We want to pull back the curtain and let you get to know the amazing hosts who make the Mouthfuls what it is. A space for growth, creativity, and camaraderie. These are the people who are on the stage right now. These are the voices that guide us, inspire us, and help us evolve. So, everyone, prepare to be inspired, intrigued, and maybe even a bit surprised as we delve into the lives and minds of our esteemed hosts. Let me first introduce the hosts on the stage. I'll start with the Trizzy. Trizzy has held 7 events. Well, still relatively new, but Trizzy has taken to the conversational role plays like fish to water, adding to his own unique flavor. For those who are listening, get your heart emoji ready. There are so many heart emojis in this community. Please express your welcome. Heart, rainbow heart, yes, for Trizzy. In chat, heart emojis, please. And then I want to introduce Jarif. Jarif has held about 17 events in this community already, and each event is visual image based. And there's no right or wrong answer. Your unique perspectives is what he's looking for. Heart emojis for Jarif. Well, I'm gonna go back to Trizzy also to address a question that was submitted to me before the event from World Traveler. I want to go back to Trizzy. Trizzy,
yo,
what would be your slogan?
my slogan.
For you as a host and or your events.
Slogan would probably be trust the process.
I
Definitely
love
that
it.
one.
Trust the process. And
Mhm.
Jarif, what's your slogan?
Oh, by the way, hi guys.
Hi.
Yeah. Hey, so I think it would be, I guess, never give up.
Never give up. I love it.
Pretty basic. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you, Jarif. Next, I want to introduce Winnie. Winnie has hosted 46 events and with an astonishing 94% consistency rate. He hosts impromptu speaking events as well as monthly karaoke event. Winnie, what is your slogan?
Let's hear what's on your mind.
Let's hear what's on your mind. That is so inviting. I love it. Hearts for Winnie.
Yay, thank you.
Next up, brace yourselves for Janelle. Well, Janelle has held 47 events, and it's the most loved host. Can I say that? That is? Well, she not only hosts impromptu speaking events, the reason I said that is that she's also very active, chatting casually and playing games with the rest of the community. Hearts for Janelle. Janelle, what's your slogan?
Wow, I couldn't think of something except maybe just don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid from Janelle. Hearts for Janelle. I get so much support in the chat channel. Next up is Bose. He has hosted 79 events and is our go-to for the technology related, the tech news and tech buzz. And he has this knack for translating complex news to press conference style role-play scenarios. What would be your slogan, Bose?
Thank you very much. I think my slogan would be, if you feel like you're the smartest one in the room, you're in the wrong.
If you feel like you are the smartest person in the room, then you are wrong. Wow, that makes me think. I love it. Here comes Liam. You're up next. Liam has held 114 events with a 95% consistency. He's not only a host, he's also the cornerstone of the Mouthfuls legacy. Liam, remind me, you would be the first host that's not the founder, right, Liam?
Glad you put that little asterisk on it. Yes, the first host, but the first event I ever went to, Mouthful event, you were the host.
I know, and the co-founders unanimously said that Ying, I'm not sure you are the right person. We need someone who's more energetic, who's more funny, and has more zeal. So that's where it came. Okay, Liam, what would be your slogan?
It's kind of a hack from another group, but it would be growth and comfort rarely coexist. Let's get uncomfortable.
Let's get uncomfortable. Think about that for a moment. Audience, hearts for Liam. I can see so many hearts coming. From Cluster, from Corzen, Hunter X, Relianti, Floopy, Barnabash, Jarif, Janelle, hosts cheering for each other, Bose, Barely Jack. Hunter X says, Liam, stop being funny. I'm already in love with the other people. Okay, finally to me, my name's Ying. I'll be your moderator for today's event. I've hosted 314 events. I also co-own this Discord server with my co-founder CK. You don't see him often because he's mostly involved with making bots. Outside of hosting, I recruit and train hosts and moderators, design roles and channels and protocols, and build out the tech capabilities. We've got 2 custom bots now, made for the Mouthfuls community. Now let's move on to the first segment of today's event. Wow, so many hearts. I have to scroll up to find the agenda. All right. First, we'd like to talk about each host's journey to the Mouthfuls. Essentially, how they became a part of the Mouthfuls community and what was it like for them as part of this journey. I want to start with Janelle. Janelle, how did you first discover the Mouthfuls and what motivated you to join?
Wow. So I was on Reddit and I was looking for, I think I was in a thread where in particular I was looking for a place to improve speaking communication, and someone recommended this this server, and I never had Discord. I didn't know what that was. I had to download this so that I could get on this server that they were talking about, and it was the Mouthfuls.
That's
And-
crazy.
yeah.
That is crazy. So you didn't even know about Discord before?
No,
Mouthfuls.
I was so alien to it.
And when you joined, what was it like for you? What was the first event like for you?
Honestly, it was so intimidating because again, I didn't know of Discord except for I just heard of it. It's like I thought it was something that was for gamers, and I was navigating through the user interface, and there was this person, Ying, who was helping me throughout my just figuring out the events. And my first event was a speaking practice session with Ying. It was a beginner one with you.
Oh,
And,
wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that was Janelle. How about you, Mr. Bose? How did you first discover the Mouthfuls and what motivated you to join? I think you joined when we were still on Meetup, right?
That's right. Yeah, I think I was motivated because I found this meetup listing that said, there's 1 minute impromptu speaking, and immediately it felt that like if it came for the challenge, I wasn't sure I would be up for it, but it came for the challenge, and it sounded a nice way for people to socialize where everyone got equal amount of time to speak, yet it was a very well moderated session. There were focused conversations driven by those 1 minute speaking prompts. I kind of loved how well it was run and at the same time how well creative it was at the same time.
Thank you for that, Mr. Bose. How about you, Winnie?
Hello. I found the Mouthfuls through a Reddit post as well, and I was looking for, searching for ways to improve my communication and speaking skills, and I saw this, pretty popular post talking about how if you want to improve like there's this group and it mentioned the 1 minute speaking as well and how you can how that can improve your communication by thinking quickly um, and trying to get your points across in 1 minute. And I thought that was pretty cool. And I noticed that there were recordings of your sessions as well on YouTube. And I just watched those and I thought that was like really engaging and interesting.
Did the
And it
YouTube
looked
video play a role in convincing you to join?
yes, because um, just hearing other people speaking and hearing and seeing what it's like, it made me feel more comfortable to join and be a part of that.
I like it.
Uh,
I like it. Thank
yes,
you, Winnie. Let's
and yeah,
let's
yes,
move on to the next question that I have for you. For those who are also part of other servers on Discord, unlike Janelle, Trizzy, you must be involved with a lot of servers on Discord, given that you are a very accomplished gamer. Trizzy, this question is for you. After you joined, Trizzy, after you joined the server, can you describe a moment that you realized that the Mouthfuls was more than just another Discord server to you?
Well, I have joined quite a bit of servers. Some of the many things that you can figure out pretty quickly, like it's not really the same old little server that you might join, is that number one, I think Ying, you're really good at hosting this server. I think you're really good at it. That's like one really big tell.
Thank you.
And number two, you have events, pretty organized events. So as long as people, want to join in, it'll always be active. Or I mean, yeah, it already makes sense like that. But I mean to say, the server will always be active as long as people have a want to improve their communication skills. It's never going to die out.
I
So
like
think
that
it's
confidence.
a great server.
And Jarif, how about you? Are you part of other servers as well?
Like usually I'm not really active on Discord, but yeah, I think kind of. I just joined a lot of servers, but I don't really interact that much in those. But in this server, I interact like most of the time when I use Discord. So I'll say not that much, but kind of, I guess.
And can you describe that moment, the exact moment that made you engage versus the other servers where you're less active?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was one of the highlights because when I first joined the server, I didn't have a spoken VC. I used to like write things and like interact by writing, texting, but there was like your Riven going on and you were the host. So when I joined, I think you were really nice to me and I kind of feel accepted. It's a nice feeling, right? So I think that made me kind of comfortable opening up and just talking with my voice rather than typing. So I would say it's more of the making people feel comfortable. That's the main thing I'll say.
So it's the opportunity or the ways we engage with our members through voice channel activities and the kind and supportive culture in the community.
Exactly.
Now let's move on to Liam. What skills, since you're one of the most experienced hosts here, Liam, what skills do you think are crucial for a host at the Mouthfuls?
Good question. Good morning, and thank you for having me today. Well, I think that kind of echoes back to one of the main reasons why I joined Mouthfuls. I joined way back when COVID was a thing and everybody was at home, and I was still working, but most of my meetings were being done virtually over Zoom at that point. And I recognized while in person, I was not so awkward speaking with other people, and I was able to host meetings. Over the virtual world, over the screens, it was a lot less simple and organized, and there was so much awkward speaking over each other, and so, oh, go ahead, or awkward, Liam, you're on mute. So at first it was to kind of get a more comfort in being in virtual meetings and speaking virtually with people. And then so when I started hosting, I realized I kind of developed different sets of skills. And for hosts on Mouthful, or I believe hosts on any Discord platform, voice Discord platform, some skills that you should develop if you hope to be successful is patience. You don't need to fill those awkward silences that are only a second or too long. Often that's how long people take to think. But when you can't see their face and you can't see that they're about to start speaking again, we often want to jump in and just start talking for them. But if you give them that extra second, they are actually just thinking and want to speak. As well as being able to multitask, being able to maybe set up your next prompt or set up the next admin portion of what you're trying to do for the event, but also to be listening to the person that's speaking, to listen to what they're actually trying to say and try to understand what they're saying. So it also gives you that role of multitasking. And the third and final one, I would say, is being empathetic to the fact this is a global community and there's going to be perspectives from people all around the world, whether it the national perspectives or religious perspectives and things like that. So you need to have a broader understanding and a broader openness to hearing different perspectives before having an opinion and possibly commenting on it. Those would be the 3 or 4 main skills I'd express to those maybe looking to become a Mouthful host or a host in general.
Well, that sounds like it's asking for a lot, Liam. For some of the aspiring hosts who are listening in audience, well, you need to be able to handle the virtual hosting versus physical hosting well, and you also need to be able to handle silences and initiating, responding. There's so much of organizing, admin things going on, multitasking, and empathy. There's so much. It takes a superhuman to handle all of that. Yeah, say one more, Liam.
Sorry, I now see what you're saying. I did make it sound hard, but let me reiterate. At the beginning, I didn't have any of those skills. I was just flying by the seam of my pants, and you slowly develop those skills. So don't feel like if you do want to become a host, you have to have all those skills to start. You don't. What you will have is just the the drive to improve and to get better, as I know most people, almost everyone on the server already does. You will learn those skills as you progress through hosting. You won't start with them, and you don't need to. Okay.
Thank you for that. Oh, a big relief. Now I want to ask the same question to Bose.
Right. Thank you for asking me, and I think Liam answered great to cover most of the areas. But I think one thing which I figured out right away when I was hosting is if I'm hosting and I'm setting up a prompt on a topic that could invite diverse and even possibly controversial responses, I have to be ready to moderate those responses well in a way that everybody gets a chance to speak. At the same time, people don't feel disappointed showing up. because either they felt let down by how people responded. So I think maintaining that fine balance between having a nice freedom of speech versus being able to ensure people are respectful to each other, even if some of the topics were pretty sticky, especially in the initial days when the format of Mr. Bose was a lot different. We had topics on both politics, governance, and tech, which means things could sometimes get a little heated. So to be able to be on the spot, do that while prepare for the next prompt, keep an eye on the clock, and then move on. I think that was a bit of work that took to ensure that I did that well. And I think one thing that continued remaining, work throughout as we evolved the format into more tech-focused, single topic-focused conversations is, the idea that I had to prepare well in advance to ensure I knew well about the topic. So if there was a conversation, a question from the audience or the speakers about the topic that wasn't directly related to any of the prompts, I should be in a good position to explain it and talk about it. So that required a regular study and well preparation before showing up for hosting the session. I think these are the two items which I feel, haven't quite changed over time. No matter how many times I do it, I still have to sit down every day and feel stupid, dumb, and actually go through new topics, understand them well, produce prompts, and potentially prepare for side conversations that may not be really related to my prompts. Yep.
Bose, you and I never talked about this, and I'm so glad that you shared that. I had thought that the challenge is, I love attending Mr. Bose Tech Talks because it's challenging, it's stimulating, the topics are controversial, and you get to play the roles of a prominent figure. I never knew that how much preparation work you needed to put in to pull off both one on diplomacy and secondly to respond to audience questions. Diplomacy came up again and again in the past couple of weeks. I guess it's also a question that members want to ask. How could they be better at handling controversial topics or situations in a diplomatic way? Can you give some brief advice?
Right. I think there are two parts to it. One is sometimes you want to ensure that there is a conversation happening that is totally going in the wrong direction, and you not just want to be diplomatic about it. You want to ensure that people walk out of the room getting the right message. And I think in those situations, it's a little toned down on the diplomacy, but politely being able to have a conversation around why that specific response is totally off. And then there is the aspect of where that there is a very popular different opinion, and you need to ensure that opinion is heard. And at the same time, the best way to make sure that opinion is heard, even if you don't agree and even if it's not popular, is to spend time providing some context around it so that people who do not agree with that opinion at least have a ton of context around it to go home a little thought-provoked compared to going home feeling angry that they heard an opinion that's totally different and also that opinion was even entertained. So I think that's what I try to do to ensure that provide a ton of context around it to let people think for themselves and not think on their behalf. Those are the two things I kind of use as a rule of the thumb when handling diplomacy at events when different conversations come flowing.
Well said. Well said. Thank you, Mr. Bose. Let's move on to Janelle. What skills do you think are crucial for a host at the Mouthfuls that haven't been said already?
Yeah, so I just adding on to what has already been said. I mean, apart from having that patience and being empathetic, which I definitely agree with, I think a skill that a great host could have is a commitment to. It's one thing to be able to handle a room, to speak well, but the thing is to be present every week, and show up for the events is, I think, a crucial thing that that uh, can uh, make a great host. So that's the other thing that I could think of.
Yeah, definitely. I have to agree with you. Eh, for hosting as many events as I have, if I skipped for a couple of events and say on a holiday or something, and I came back, I immediately felt that rustiness. Do you feel that too, Janelle?
Oh yeah, definitely. The consistency is really vital.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, Trizzy, what skills do you think are crucial for a host? And it's okay if everything has been said already.
Somebody in the chat said Riz. I mean, that's a great factor. I can't lie. But I do think that connecting with the people that join your event is a little nice, you know? So if, for example, people are doing like role play prompts and stuff, right? I'll still comment in the chat, even though I don't have to. I'll still like participate and be the one to, make sure that people are like listening in on their prompts and all that. I do enjoy it though. That's the thing. I do enjoy it as well. So I think that it helps me connect more with the people that join my events.
Mm.
Another thing I think is pretty good is if you can keep your event organized, in a sense, if you just keep it organized. It's not good to, I think it's not good to be too organized, but it's also not good to be too unorganized. So, sometimes just letting like conversations run is pretty good, but making sure that it doesn't run for too long is also pretty good. I think it gets a good balance in there, and also like participating yourself in like good conversations, even if they do get off track. You know what I'm saying?
I do. I have a tendency to be very planned, very structured, and I get that sometimes it's better to have things to go on its own course naturally and the conversation naturally evolve. I get it. Well said. I want to read out some of the comments in chat. From Barnabash. Honestly, getting into hosting is a great, effective way to improve social skills. I agree. You kind of have to learn all those useful skills to give others a good experience. I might try getting into it. It sounds interesting. Nice. Oh, one big question about hosting skills that comes up frequently is responding, especially for newer hosts. Are there any ways or tips that you can give people who struggle with the responding quickly in a conversation? Conversation it's back and forth. Someone initiates, and then someone responds. How do you get better at responding in a conversation? Liam?
How do you get better at responding? Again, it kind of goes back to being fully engaged in listening to what that person is trying to say. Sometimes on the surface, if we're thinking or doing something different in our mind, but on the surface we're listening, we might respond to that person, but it would be very superficial answer. It won't be to the point they were really trying to make. In order to have a genuine response to any individual, whether it be over voice chat or in real life, is to fully immerse yourself in trying to understand what that person's saying and not just listen to what that person's saying. I recognize that in a part of my life, I was that person that was listening to somebody so that I could reply. I wanted to reply. I wasn't listening to understand, and I wasn't replying to what they were actually saying. I was replying to what was just already in my head. So to be genuine and to have a response or to reply to someone properly is more than just having the point that you want to make and getting it across as a counterpoint to what someone else is saying. It's trying to understand what they're saying, and if you legitimately disagree, then you have that angle where you honestly understand what they're saying, so that you can disagree with them in a respectful, in a more powerful way. Or if you agree, if you're in agreement with this individual in what you guys are talking about, then you have the basis points that they've already spoken to. So you can say, I agree with this point that you made, this point that you made, this point that you made. It'll come across more genuine. And I think we all recognize when you genuinely recognize someone's listening to you and engaging in conversation, those individuals have much more of an impact on you in terms of, I will want to speak with this person again. I will want to be in this person's event again. Than if it's a stand back, they're just they're just kind of on the perimeter listening to what I'm saying so that they can give me the next prompt, or they can give the next person to speak. Does that answer your question, Ying?
Yeah, exactly. What you said about listen to understand who's in front of you, as opposed to listen to come up with a reply. That really resonated with me. I want to wrap up this segment and move on to the next segment about memorable moments and transformations. Before that, I'd like to invite all of you on the stage to, as well as the audience, to think about the values in one word or two, the values that resonated with you about this platform. And I heard bits and bytes from the conversations with all of you just earlier. Someone talked about everyone gets equal chance to speak. That would be an example of value. And I would like to invite the hosts to think about what are the one or two or three values that resonated with you, that inspired you to commit this much to this platform. And to me personally, the big thing is everyone gets about equal opportunity to speak. And that's especially important to me for being shy or not usually in a room of people. Usually the extroverted, the louder people speak. And as a soft-spoken person, I tend to listen. And for a lot of the free-flowing conversations, there tend to be one or two people speaking, the rest of them listen. And the value of the mouthfuls, really, to me, it's the part about everyone gets equal chance to speak. And in one word or two, you don't have to go to the detail. And audience members, if there's a value that resonated with you or attracted to you to the platform, please type it out in chat. We'll start with Liam.
It's a good question, Ying. A value, something that allows this platform to be that much more valuable to people. Sorry, Ying, was that what it was?
The question is, what are some of the values of the community that attracted you, that drew you to this unique platform?
At the end of every event, or no, that's not true. At the beginning, when I'm looking for introductions for everyone, something I always hear is supportive. This community, I've come to this community, and it's been so supportive. Everybody here is so positive and supportive. I think that's rare on internet communities. So I would say for Mouthfuls, it is being supportive by other members.
And you, both?
I think what I love is Mouthfuls draws a group of people who want to get better at whatever they're trying to get better on. Like, for example, there are folks who come here who want to get better at speaking in general. There are folks who come here who want to get better at knowing more about tech. There are folks who come here who want to speak better on camera, for example, when we used to do on Meetup and Zoom. I think that's what I love, that people come here because they're self-driven. And to be in a room where everyone's so self-driven, that feels amazing.
I love it. So for me, it's the equality part, and for Liam, it's the kindness and supportiveness, and for both, it's that challenge-seeking growth mindset audience. How about you, Janelle?
For me, it's just being part of a motivating and non-judgmental community. That's it.
Motivating and non-judgmental. Love it. Winnie?
For me, it's about how everyone is like-minded and we're all looking to improve on our speaking skills.
The focus, the purpose-drivenness of this community. How like-minded we are. Trizzy?
Yeah, I think everyone had like really good points. Just about improving, just being in a server full of people that like to improve. That's a beautiful thing. I can't lie. And yeah.
Jarif?
Can you hear me? Hello?
I can, yes.
Yeah, so I would say is the space to make mistakes, because it's like I always stumble on my words here and there. Plus, like we, like as humans, I think everybody has it. Like we sometimes have brain fog. We have a hard time like thinking up thoughts and expressing them. So everybody makes mistakes when they try to communicate. So I would say when I do make mistakes, I don't feel that much judged. So I would say this space kind of feels like it doesn't mind mistakes, and yeah, this is like the main value that kind of resonates with me, and that's the main thing.
A sandbox for making mistakes. Learn something from it.
Absolutely.
That's great. And let me also read some of the responses from the audience. Prosperity. A home. Inclusiveness. Yes. Patience. Listening. Deep conversations. Shy people need a push. Listening again. Listening. There's so many. Okay. Those who are listening, we need some hearts. Send your hearts to our host on the stage, and let's move on to the next segment. This next segment will be about some of the memorable moments and transformations. So in the next few 20 or so minutes, I'd like to invite the hosts to start telling some stories. Moments that inspired you, or things that happened on the events that you hosted, or things happened with you or with the members. And I want to start with a question that was submitted to me before the event, a lighthearted one. You are stranded in the middle of the desert with a vehicle that can only take 2 more people. Which 2 other hosts would you take with you? So this is a question submitted by World Traveler. And you can pick hosts who are here or who are not here. I will start with Trizzy.
Tough question. It's like some Hunger Games type beat. If I could only take 2 hosts, well, I really, really like all the hosts. I'm not gonna lie. I really do like all of them. But if I had to choose 2, it'd have to be Janelle, and it'd have to be Liam for sure. I feel like Liam's pretty smart, bruh. I'm gonna have to take under his wing, know how to survive. And then, Janelle's cool. Feel like I'll never get bored. She also knows, how to deal with typhoons. So that might be a problem.
I didn't know that about Janelle. I was thinking about I'm going to go by the consistency leaderboard for the hosts, but maybe I'll pick Janelle as well and knock out Bose for her skill in typhoon handling. Okay. That was Trizzy. Jarif, how about you? Which 2 hosts would you take with you?
I gotta think. Yeah, I think I would choose Malay Man because I think he's the OG. I kind of like, I'm kind of inspired by him. He got the energy, and I always like to kind of like radiate the same energy that he has. Fun and a little bit loud, carefree. And another host might be like, to be fair, I cannot choose everybody's like super awesome. But maybe Trizzy. He got the Riz and he's a cool guy. I think he also kind of makes me think of Malayman. I think he also got the same type of energy, so I'll say Malayman and Trizzy.
Okay. How about you, Winnie?
Can you remind me where we're all going?
We were stranded in the middle of a desert.
Okay.
And with the 1 car that can take 2 more people, you're the driver. Which 2 other hosts would you take?
Janelle, I think she said she's in improv, so she would probably think quickly and get on the spot, so she's one. And maybe Trizzy. He's pretty charismatic in case we meet any strangers. He could probably recruit them or keep them away. Yes, you can riz them up. So he can keep me safe with his smooth talk.
Okay. Good answer. Janelle, your turn.
This is so hard. Oh my gosh. I was initially going to choose Trizzy as well. But I think I'm going to go with Pigeon Man and Tosca because I love them and we're gonna keep each other entertained as well and support each other through the ordeal.
Pigeon and Tosca. How about you, Mr. Bose?
I'll take Vinny and Liam. And the reason would be, for me, in my mind, Vin is that polite guy. And Liam is that guy whom I can put in front of me if I get into a fight or something. So, since I'm standing in the middle of a desert and, I need a stretcher I'm well covered, I'll use Vinny when I need to sweet talk somebody, and I use Liam to kind of protect us verbally or physically maybe from a bunch of people who might come in the way. So yeah.
Does Liam give you the I can fight vibe?
I think it does.
Liam, how about you?
Well,
I don't know why, but for some reason I can't hear Jarif. Every time he speaks, it's just dead silent for me. So I'm not sure what rationale he used or who he picked, but I can hear every other host in this perfectly. I would have loved to have heard what he had to say because he's from the desert. He said it's his hometown, so he must have some insight on what you need to survive. But I think who I would pick would be, I think I would pick Trizzy for the positivity just to keep you up, because if you're in the potential of maybe not making it, you need someone just to keep you positive. And I think I would take you, Ying. You're a host. You've been on here for a while. I would take you. You're extremely smart. You're extremely patient. You don't let emotions get involved. If you said, no, I think we're going to survive, I would believe you. If you said, no, we're done. We might as well make it painless, I would listen to you then as well. Okay, you're almost like a cult leader in that regard, I guess. But those are the two hosts I would take.
Well, if I say, no, we're gonna die, at least you have Trizzy in the car to keep you sane and keep you positive. Okay. The next question we're gonna go get to is about memorable moments and transformations. And I think a lot of people here want to know that, well, now you're all shining stars for this community. You're the front face and very visible. But they want to know that, has that path to become who you are today always been smooth sailing? Can you share a hurdle that you had to overcome as a host? We'll start with Trizzy.
Well, I haven't been like hosting for that long at all, really. I will say I was nervous when I first started hosting. I was very nervous. And now I'm still pretty nervous. I can't lie. I'm sweating right now. Just a little bit. Look, it's not easy out here. Everyone's so nice. It's not easy out here, bro. I can't lie. Look, my voice already cracking. but, right. If I had to say a hurdle, I mean, besides that, of course, if I had to say a hurdle, it'd probably be trying to measure like how much I should talk. Right. So I don't know. Sometimes I might talk a little bit too much, I feel like. So I have to make sure that I, give other people their space to talk and all that. And let them just do their thing. I feel like it feels nice for people to have their moment.
And some of us here are shy and struggle to fill up the airtime, and you have the opposite problem. You can talk and you can be very talkative, and you're working on balancing talking versus listening.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Jarif?
I would say it's kind of the same for me. Like, I always want to talk, but I think it is super important to give others space. And I guess, I was pretty bad at, listening. And I always tend to be like, yo, I'm not interested in this, so I'll probably not gonna listen that much. And I'll just maybe scroll on my phone while others were speaking. So I would say I had to improve my listening skill, and I would say I also focused on like getting interested rather than just forcing myself to listen. I think it's easier when you're interested, right? So, and I think it is possible to be interested in everything if you just find the right angle to look at it. And you gotta make up a vision when you hear something new. So uh, you can get interested in what I'm saying is you can get pretty much interested in anything. So I think learning to be interested in things, being curious, and also in overall being good at listening was one of my hurdle. So which I'm still trying to improve. I'm not that great, to be honest. And yeah,
What experience made you feel that curiosity, being interested in all sorts of different things? Why is that an important skill to you?
yeah, of course. It's like sometimes maybe just living your life and you're just bored always. That makes you think like what is like to be maybe happy in life. I think this might get a little bit. I'm not like trying to take this to a sad route, but what I'm trying to say is like to have a maybe happy life and not get depressed. You also have to be present and look at things and look at things in a way, in an angle that like triggers your creative mind and makes you think, wow, this how this works is kind of interesting. For example, it can be just a simple thing like maybe you're walking by a road and you see a tree and you don't know what tree it is. You can just like maybe take a photo and search it up on Google. Like you can search images on Google, right? And like look it up, what tree is it? And maybe you start to get interested in trees. So it's like random thing you do, um, little things you do that makes you interested in things, like triggers your curiosity, and like small things add up. And I think it improves your life a lot. You'll probably have uh, you'll probably have a good outlook in life. You have the curiosity, and everything just seems interesting, fun. Yeah, it just changes.
Makes you not living in your head all the time and
Yeah.
improves happiness. Yeah, I get it. How about you, Winnie? Can you share a hurdle that you had to overcome as a host?
Mm, I guess being self-conscious and about what I'm going to say and what I'm and making and like being self-conscious. I think that's a hurdle I had to overcome, and um, to overcome that, I try to focus on more on the other person and what they're saying, and yeah, something because if you're focused, you can hear their perspective, and sometimes they have really interesting stories to tell, and you're going to miss that if you're too focused on yourself.
How about you, Janelle?
A hurdle that I think I had to overcome was sometimes I tend to be very hard on myself, and there were moments where I think I've experienced some sort of imposter syndrome. Um, like I'm not sure if I deserve being a host and having the privilege to facilitate the events with all these well-spoken people. Um, but yeah, that just is something that that I had to overcome, and I still sometimes I still feel like I'm grasping for words and just pressuring myself to improve. Sometimes I get again too hard on myself because a lot of people on this server inspire me so much, and it frustrates me on myself on a personal level sometimes uh, when I reflect on myself and my own skills.
Can we give Janelle a lot of hearts in chat for sharing such a vulnerable thought? Yes, please do. Same here, Janelle. I've hosted so many events, and the same thought, like for example, we just spoke about maybe adding more stage events to the community, and sometimes you're pushed into that role or nudged into that role that you're not even sure you are ready or not ready. I totally feel you, that imposter syndrome feeling. I have the same. Okay. Bose, I thought you had to go. Come on. Now, while waiting for Bose, Liam, it's hard because you are always so energetic and funny at your events. And I can't think of something that you had to overcome as a host. You shared earlier about the organizing, and share something that's a deeper hurdle that you had to overcome as a host.
Yeah, actually, this one, as soon as you asked this question, I knew exactly what my answer would be. For me, it was dedication, being dedicated to something. The consistency of showing up every week and putting in a few hours every week prior to the event to ensure you have the prompts. I've always kind of lived outside of my work, I've always lived a pretty free life where I didn't have a lot of responsibilities and I didn't have many time obligations. So putting this in my calendar and dedicating myself to doing this every Thursday, and I hope my participation rate, as you stated earlier, of 95% shows that I really dedicated myself to doing this every Thursday. And prior, I had a lot of issues with being a dedicated individual to, heck, going to the gym all the time, or certain parts of my life. I'm a little more free than I should be. So this is something that I wanted to dedicate myself to and to force myself to do it every Thursday. And like I said, the prep time on the Wednesday. And that's definitely something I had to overcome and I've had to work at. While a lot of my social skills and ability and confidence comes very naturally, being dedicated to something like this, it did not come naturally, and it took effort on my part for sure.
So, why is it that committing to something for such a long time, why does it mean so much to you, Liam? Is it about being proud of your ability to stick to something for as long as you did?
Yes, that's exactly kind of what it's about. It's about not being proud, not so much being proud, but proving to myself that I could do something that I haven't done in the past as much as I'd like to, and working on it and maintaining it. Yeah, so it's something. It's a self victory that I know is an area where I don't have a lot of self victories. So it's something that I wanted to work on, and it's something that I'm happy with for sure.
Yeah, I'm just reading an audience response from Hunter X. He says discipline is the fruit of effort and dedication. Thank you so much for sticking for so long, Liam. Thank you for blessing us with your existence. Thank you for that, Hunter X. Okay, let's move on to the next question I have in mind. Janelle, can you share a moment, a story, an experience that left an impact on you as a host?
One of the most memorable moments for me here, apart from just the hosting, is when we got on stage for the podcast, when we talked about my stand-up. Well, that was pretty empowering for me just because, again, I have had a lot of self-doubts, and week by week I listen to these members, and I try to be as separate from, I try not to include myself in a lot of my events, but just to experience that and to realize that people were interested, that was pretty empowering, and it was such a memorable moment for me.
I remember that as well. It's very memorable for me as well. How about you, Winnie? Is there a particular moment that left an impression on you as a host?
There was this one moment where I had a new English speaker in my event, and they were struggling a bit to engage in the conversation, and one of the other participants, Hunter X, was there, and he helped with translating and getting them more comfortable. And I just remember being so grateful for his patience and understanding, and how he volunteered to translate, and that was something I appreciated a lot.
Yeah, a member proactively help out at your event, and I'm seeing that a lot in the community, and I'm very grateful for so proactive and so ready to help individuals. Thank you for sharing that, Winnie. How about you, Trizzy? Do you have a story to tell us?
My most memorable moments in this server are probably the first time I've met each of the hosts, because I really do like the hosts a lot, you know. But I'd have to say the first time I've met Ying was it was the first time I came in the server in like not even like 2 seconds. So I came in a roommate chat. There were like 2 other people in there. One other person was actually from my area somehow. That was very coincidental. And there was another person that I didn't know. We all didn't meet each other. Gang comes swooping in. Hey guys, how y'all doing? How y'all like the server? Y'all ready for some prompts? I'm like, oh, prompts. What is this? What is happening? So we went through some prompts, and we talked about like, we had some really, really good prompts too. We talked about like, is crying a need or a want? We were on that topic for like a long time. So that was pretty impactful for me. I was talking about an anime called To Your Eternity. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that, but that's like one of the animes that made me cry a little bit, get you teary-eyed. But yeah, it was pretty good. That's when I knew I'd like this server.
I know, I remember that. I remember that event. I also remember the first impression, Trizzy, that you gave me was, it was very impressive. You spoke for a few rounds and you asked for people's feedback. And that left a strong impression for me.
Yeah, I'm always open to feedback.
Yeah.
I'm always open to opinions in general, actually. Just any and all opinions.
Janelle says, your impression of me is spot on. How about you, Liam? Do you have a story, something that's memorable that happened at your event?
Yes, I do. I'm going to go way back. You guys are doing a great job of talking about recent Discord sides of Mouthful, but I think Bose and I have the fortunate memories of pre-Discord Mouthful when it was over Zoom, and I found a lot of those events, everyone's face to face. It wasn't just voice; it was face to face, and you really had a diverse group of individuals. This was during COVID when everybody was going online to be. The demographics of who were joining was just so diverse. You had older people, you had really young people, and you had people from all over the world, different ethnicities and religions all joining. And the basis of this was I was so shocked every time I had a perception in my head of whether this person was going to be introspective based on the prompt or they were going to be hilarious based on the prompt was always wrong. And I remember this one event where we had this older lady in the room, and she gave the most hilarious response to a prompt, and I was so caught off guard. And then the very
What
next
what was
person
the
to speak,
prompt, and what just briefly, what did she say?
oh boy, Ying, another one of my weaknesses, Ying, is my memory. So you asking me that, I couldn't honestly tell you what the prompt was. And to be honest, while I was the creator of the prompt, and I'd love to say it was the prompt that initiated such a response, it wasn't. It was the ingenuity and the individualism of the people giving their answers. So the prompt really doesn't matter, but it was the sequence of one individual using a single prompt and making it so funny, their response, that the entire room was laughing. And you can see everyone's face, and sometimes you couldn't even hear. The speaker had to stop talking because everyone was laughing so loud. And then the next person that I called on to speak on the exact same topic was so introspective that it had people almost tearing up. And I remember I went from laughing from one speaker, the same prompt, to crying the very next. And that was a moment when I realized one of the things I loved and appreciated about this format and what we were doing was the diversity of how people could answer the exact same prompt, and how I shouldn't have perceptions or expectations on how someone is going to answer a prompt, and that there's such a variety of ways to answer. So while I don't remember what the prompt was or when it was, I will always remember going from laughing so hard I was almost crying to actually tearing up because the person's response was so emotional. Yeah.
So do you as a host sometimes feel like an artist and the art form is your written prompts and your art is connecting with the audience in a way? Do you feel that, Liam?
I do. I do enjoy making the prompts, and while making some prompts, I'm always trying to think of how people are going to respond to them. And I'm always reminded that they're responded to in ways that I would have never expected. People are so much more creative than I am in coming up with my prompts. People respond to them in such different ways. I'm like, oh, here's 5 or 6 different ways we can respond to this one. And I have 10 people in the room, and all 10 people respond to it differently. So yeah, I do really take a lot of joy in coming up with the prompts. But it's it's almost the old cliche saying that everybody looks at a painting in a different way. So regardless of what the prompt is that I come up with as the artist per se, it's the how everyone else receives it and interprets it that is kind of the beautiful part of the prompt.
And since you are noticing so much about the members and their reactions, and you've also been hosting for a very long time, Liam, have you seen any transformation in our members that stand out to you?
Yes. Aside from the obvious, where when Mouthful first started, it was a global lockdown, and everybody was locked in their houses, and they were looking for outlets to be creative and to not be so socially isolated. So the amount of people and the type of people that were coming to the Mouthful events were more so, they were looking for a community, they were looking for social interactions, and it was a lot more transactional, I would say. It was, they were coming, I'm bored on this Friday night, or I'm bored on this Wednesday night, I'm going to come to this event, and maybe we don't see them again. Don't get me wrong, we had many, many repeat offenders that came all the time and had a great time. But what I see the transformation being the most was Mouthfuls when it first started, although the intent was what we're doing now, helping with social anxiety and empowering people to improve on themselves. That was always the intent. But at the beginning, because of the external factors, it was, I felt, a lot more social. It's still social now, but we've transitioned to a community of people that are very looking for growth. We're almost all on the same page in terms of how we want to achieve our growth and what's important to us, and helping other people grow, being supportive, being positive. And it's much more of a growth and not education, but a growth and improvement platform now, as opposed to a social platform that I felt like it kind of was maybe at the very beginning. And both had its positives. Both still do. But that's the transition that I've kind of seen. It's a little more homogeneous in terms of self-improvement now than it was back then.
Now, speaking of self-improvements, talk about one member. You don't have to mention their names. Talk about one member that who has gone to your events for a period of time by now, and what kind of improvements have you seen?
To me, Ying? To me to continue?
Yes, we'll start with you and then we'll move on.
Okay. Yes, there are multiple individuals that have been coming to events almost from the very start. And it's easy for me to say that at the very beginning they were they were shyer. I could tell they had their opinions, but they weren't as willing or able to express them how they wanted to. And now they're still part of the community. And in the events, they're one of the stronger speaking individuals that come to the events now. And it's not from, it's more so in their ability to articulate what they wanted to say that has improved. And the lack of them being self-conscious. And that's kind of the switch. They became less self-conscious, and just the repetitive action of speaking in front of other people allowed them to articulate their point or what they're trying to express that much more. And it's beautiful to see the change from someone that you could tell was bundled up and unable to express themselves to someone being so freely spoken and having a good time while doing it, as opposed to it being I'm working on myself, I have to do this is to improve. Now they're improving and they're having a really fun time doing it as well. And there's 3 or 4 people that I can think of right off the top of my head. You told me not to name names, so I won't, but 3 or 4 people that I've seen that transition from, and it's a beautiful thing. And I think it's one of the reasons why I enjoy being a host so much is witnessing those types of transformations.
Well, thank you, Liam. I want to invite Janelle to speak next and focus on one individual and what they were like at the beginning and what they were like now.
Oh, I could think of one. Yes, and I think he's here in the audience, so I'm not going to name the person, but when I first spoke with him, he mentioned that his struggles with communication, and for several weeks he was so consistent in attending the events, and the progress that I saw in him right now is astounding, and it fulfills me so much. And I mentioned this to him. I said, every time he laughs, it's like it warms my heart so much, just remembering our first conversation from when he mentioned that he didn't feel comfortable talking to people at all, and he was so serious. And just seeing that member now is just such a beautiful, beautiful thing to see, the transformation.
That is a beautiful thing to see. And same here, Janelle. Nothing makes me happier to see improvements. How about you, Winnie? Tracy?
Yo. So, I have two different answers for the persons that like improved based on, my events, and a person that's Wait, Woody, did you want to go? I don't know what happened. I thought you Oh, you're back? All right, cool. You have two different answers for like a person that's improved a lot based on my events and a person that's just improved a lot in general. There's a specific person that has joined the server at pretty much the same exact time I did. And I think that the other hosts are also talking about him as well. But they've made a lot of improvements in this server, quite a lot. Like at first they were the type of person that like, thinks too much in conversations and doesn't really speak that much, thinks too much about the conversation itself, doesn't really, just let it flow into, one of the most charismatic people you could hang around. Without naming names, of course. And for my own events, right, there is one specific person that's also in the audience right now. She's made a lot of improvements to herself. As far as my events, she said she was nervous, but she's made quite fast progress despite being nervous and all that, So
What did you mean by progress? What does it look like? What does progress look like?
Well, it went from they didn't really want to do the prompts at all. They were very reluctant to do them, and then it went into them, just having a little bit of confidence in doing the prompts, into them just like taking the lead, kind of making the prompts feel pretty fun to, participate in. Everyone enjoyed them doing it quite well.
Yeah, when the events are fun, it disarms and people feel more relaxed and they're more encouraged to participate.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Winnie? Are you back?
Yes, I'm back. I can think a lot of people come and go for my speaking event, so I can talk about my karaoke event. I noticed when I first started doing that, a lot of people just like to listen, and even though I kept encouraging to others to have a turn, I noticed that like each month I noticed them returning, and then they would start participating, and now I see them quite often, and it's really fun to hear them sing and just let loose and be creative.
Just by seeing the start of the monthly karaoke events and how many people show up for then versus the showing up now. Winnie, open up your mic again. I want to ask you a couple more questions about the karaoke event. First of all, it was one of the first social events that we had on the Discord server. It's still going on. And tell us about the concept. How could singing help people build confidence and improve their speaking?
I think it relates a lot to speaking. It's just sharing your energy and your mood with others, also being in front of an audience. All of these um, translate to speaking and sharing yourself, and um, yeah, that's what I have.
And for people who are not good singers, tone deaf, how do you convince them to give it a try?
Just listen to your favorite song and try to mimic the same note of your favorite singer. And just to have fun, even if you're off key or off beat, the purpose is just to have fun and be with other people.
Is there something to be said about, being goofy and being offbeat and yet still be there showing up? And is there something to be gained by not being right and still being on the stage?
Yeah, of course. It's not a performance, it's just to have fun and relax. And I think when you're in that state of mind, things come more easily for you,
Yeah.
and you're not too stressed up and in a ball.
Yeah. I can relate. I can relate to that. I'm not a good singer at all. I haven't gone karaoke with friends for a long time, but when I was actively karaokeing, I was offbeat and tone deaf, and then I just enjoyed being silly and making my friends laugh. So people, please do give it a go. It's gonna be fun. It's a social event. It's gonna be fun. And Winnie hosts karaoke events on Sundays for group 2 time slot, the first Sunday of group 2. Give it a try. Now, I think we are about time to wrap up this segment, and I'm looking at the time permitted, the evolution of the Mouthfuls segment. I do think that can be an episode or an event on its own, and these are questions. The questions that were submitted before the event were mostly related to the start of the Mouthfuls, its evolution, and also due to time being, I would like that to be a separate event and move straight to the Q&A. As you can tell, all of you who are listening now, I have received some questions before the event, and I'd like to invite you to type out your questions for any hosts on the stage. If you have any questions after listening to them, and I'd like to take up the questions. While you're typing and preparing, I can see a few people typing already. I still have a couple of pre-submitted questions from the community I can go over. The first question I want to take up. Oh, wait. I'm already seeing one question live from the audience. It's from Fiona, so please do include the host that you wish to answer your question. So Fiona, please do include the host that you wish to answer your question. Fiona's question is there anyone among the hosts whose personality is quiet and introverted? If so, how have you used that as a positive strength while hosting? Who wants to take this?
I'll take it. I might as well. Go ahead.
Okay, Trizzy, you... Are you really quiet and introverted, Trizzy?
Well, you see, the thing is, the question's about the positive strength and how, you know what I'm saying? So it's all about the journey. It's all about the journey. That's all. Look, I'll tell you right now, the reason why I'm taking this question in the first place,
okay,
otherwise I wouldn't feel like I should, is because my New Year's resolution from last year was to not be introverted and quiet. That was my New Year's resolution. And so, summer came around and I felt like I was pretty nervous still. I was pretty like quite like not there yet. Like I didn't know what to do in social situations and like sometimes I might turtle up a little bit. Um so I tried to look up like improv in general and I came across this server. I didn't even know there was a such thing called improv, right? But I've used that to I've used that as motivation to try and get better my New Year's resolution.
Mm.
So yeah, that's what I did.
Wow, that's such a reveal. You said it in the past, Trizzy. This wasn't the first time you talked about your introversion. It's still hard to believe. I think you do have an on and off. And when you're on, maybe some of your natural traits like your voice and your energy, that makes you appear as an extroverted, energetic person with the riz. I learned
With a
this
riz.
with the riz.
You
I'm trying to guess what that meant. I didn't know this word before.
it's
People
it's short
say it's
for-
hard to believe, Trizzy. It's hard to believe. Thank you for
It's
sharing
short-
that.
It's short for charisma, by the way.
Oh, I
Yeah.
like it. Trizzy, I guess the question wants to go back to how does introversion benefit you? How you took advantage of your introversion?
Well, for me personally, right, I think that it's really easy to improve on anything at all as long as you know what you're having fun with. So for me, or like what you enjoy. So I enjoy talking to different people and like learning about them or just figuring out like what people like to do in social situations. That's what I like to do personally. That's what I enjoy. So there's not really a person I've met that I haven't enjoyed being in a conversation with. It's just that I don't think myself, I don't think I'm interesting. And that's where I like couldn't really sum up the strength to, be an extrovert. But I improved that with this server. That's the reason why I'm a host now, because I don't feel like it's okay for me to just improve on my social skills and then, not like participate in the server. So I want to improve on it and make sure the server grows. Use what I've learned and all that.
Nice guy, Trizzy. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
How about other hosts on the stage? Who else wants to address Fianna's question? Nobody? So make sure you mention the host who you wish to answer your question. Let's move on to the next. Cluster, I will address your question off the event. There's another question from Cluster. Describe a successful event you hosted and what was the highlight for you. I did ask a similar question during the event. Unless any one of you want to add on to what we already talked about, a successful event that you hosted and what was the highlight for you. Anyone on the stage? Okay. The next, Jarif, yes.
Yeah, so I do like picture prompts, right? So it was like it was themed of pictures from like manga. Manga is like Japanese comics, and I think it was pretty successful because like there was a lot of people, and from what I understood, people was enjoying it because like why not? Comic books, they look interesting. But like, even though it was successful, what I thought after the event was like, should I always do this? Like, should I always do just comic book, like Japanese manga prompts, or like some type of comic related prompts? And what I felt was, I felt kind of like I was um putting myself in a box, and I wanted to do like not just that. So I kind of realized that even though like your event might go successful, we can say like getting a lot of people and having them enjoy, but I think it's also kind of important for you to also enjoy as a host. So I think we have to find the balance of also thinking about people enjoying it, but meanwhile also enjoying yourself as a host. So I would say that was like a successful incident, and what I thought about it.
I like that answer, Jarif. You answered both questions in one shot. Two birds, one stone. Another question from Hunter X. How do you have patience for speakers who are not willing to comply with how your events go? And the question is to me. This question reminds me of a prompt that we just spoke about not too long ago, and the prompt was default respect or earned respect. So is respect by default granted or earned? And I'm a believer of respect by default. Even when the other person is appearing not following the rules or not complying with the server culture, I still choose to handle them with the respect, because it's my deep belief that respect is by default granted. It doesn't matter who the other person is. I hope that answered the question, Hunter X. Anyone else on the stage wants to talk about this question? Just open up your mic and start talking. Okay. Another question from Korzan. Oh, Bose is up. Bose, would you like to address this question? Is that why you came up to the stage? How do you have patience for speakers who are not willing to comply with how your events go? I'm not able to hear Bose. Yeah, me neither. The next question from Cluster. What are some of your past experiences with the hosting events, all of them? This is actually a great question. Have you had any background experience? Any skill sets that you had already had before you became a host? The question is, what are some of your past experiences with the hosting events? My interpretation of that is before becoming a Mouthfuls host, what kind of experience or background or skills that you already had before becoming a host? Liam, do you want to start?
Sure. I can't speak to any specific orchestrated or organized things such as what we do now with Mouthfuls that I've done, but in my professional world, I'm often asked to host meetings not virtual. It is virtual sometimes now, but in-person meetings where there could be 10, 15 people in a room and I'm facilitating a brainstorming session or rolling out a new policy or procedure or something like that and having to explain to everyone and do Q&A sessions to ensure that everyone fully understands the concept. So there's some things like that, but that's a lot more regulated. It's a lot more professional. But in terms of social, I've always kind of been one of those individuals that I feel like very similar to a lot of you. I want to make sure people are having fun. If I'm out with people, maybe we're just going for dinner or we're in a park. I want to make sure people are having fun, and I'm always trying to, I recognize that it's important for others to speak in order for them to have fun sometimes. So I've always been that person that's always trying to engage with individuals, and I've always tried to engage with people that I don't know or that I don't know much about, so that I learn a little more. Does that answer the question, Ying?
Yes, and I also like to add that Liam attended training with Gail Carnegie. Dale Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie, yeah, I did that, yeah. It was excellent. I really enjoyed it.
Bose. So the question is, what kind of background or skills that you've already had before you became a Mouthfuls host that contributed to your success? Still can't hear Bose. Janelle. We'll move on to Janelle and come back to Bose.
I have actually experience in teaching. I was a teacher several years ago. I feel like that helped a lot because you have to facilitate an entire class of people. And I think in my current job, or in my current job that I have, even before I joined the Mouthfuls, we've had to facilitate health campaigns, and that experience also, I think, helps me with it's a two-way thing now, but those were the previous experiences I had before joining the Mouthfuls.
Thank you, Janelle. And heads up to the audience. Now the raise a hand feature has been turned on. If you wish to come up to the stage to ask a host a question, you can raise your hand. I will take up one person at a time. Moving on to Winnie, the same question.
This is my first experience hosting, so I don't have much to say.
That's a good answer as well. Mic check. Bose. Still having issues. Alright, let's move on to the next question. Cluster. For fairness, I'm going to skip your question and move on to someone else's question. I hope you can understand. This question is from Vober to Trizzy. Everyone is interesting for others, but no one see themselves as interesting because we already know everything about ourselves. So new insights only came from others, and others can see the same on you. Wow, that's profound. I don't think that's a question, that's more a comment. And it also sounded, it can relate to what Jarif said about curiosity, about opening yourself to those around you and not just staying inside you. Okay, the next question. We'll take one from Barely Jack. We'll skip a cluster. Take one from Barely Jack. Nobody in particular. Have you ever disagreed with someone's answer to a certain prompt? Wow, this is a great question. When do you express it, and when do you not? So before Bose left the stage, he's been having audio issues. He hosts Tech Talks, a press conference style roleplay event where you're given a prominent position, a role to play, such as a prime minister for a country or a company CEO, and then you're given a controversial scenario to roleplay. And he talked about diplomacy, and he talked about how to moderate two different and opposing opinions of a controversial issue, where even though you may not agree with the one person or one role, one character's perspective or opinion, you still need to give them the space to express their point of view, and let them walk away the event with the right overall message, and let them walk away with additional context on that controversial issue. I hope that answered this question from Barely Jack. Any other hosts on the stage who want to talk about this? Have you ever disagreed with someone's answer to a certain prompt? And when do you express it, and when do you not? I saw Liam opened up your mic.
Yes. Often, I think some of us hosts might disagree with the answers to someone's to a prompt, but that doesn't mean. But there's a big difference between disagreeing or having a difference of an opinion than someone being rude or ethically questionable in terms of the response. If it's just a difference of opinion or on a certain topic, then yes, that's just something that you can have a conversation about, and you can express why you feel one way, and they'll do the reverse and explain why they feel that way. However, sometimes, perhaps this is what the question was going towards, there are those differences of opinions that go further and deeper than just being different in how we feel about a subject. If someone makes a malicious statement towards a ethical group or a nationality, those need to be, in my opinion, they need to be addressed a little quicker, and not so much to try to change that person's opinion. I really do agree with what you said about what Mr. Bose, try to give that person more context to maybe enlighten their view. But as hosts, it's also our place to make sure that the environment of the mouthfuls and of the events that we host, it's pretty clear that taking some of those stances in the rooms aren't appropriate, and we won't allow for that. We don't want people in our events to feel uncomfortable or compromised. So stepping up and saying, having that difficult and awkward conversation immediately is, in my opinion, pretty important to ensure the health and the vitality of everyone else's experience in that room.
Yeah, that's really well said, Liam. Thank you for that. Additional comment from other hosts? Trizzy.
Yeah, I'd like to answer that question. It's really ironic. There's only one moment where I've disagreed with someone's answer, and it's the person that asked the question. So talking to you, Jack, basically, I didn't really disagree with what he said. It was more like at the time, I was trying to improve on my speech and my communication skills, right? But it was also a time where Jack was Sue, and I told him that I think it's a lot better to not use general answers and start using like answers that you connect more with, because that'll make you it'll make it a lot easier to come up with answers and like flow with conversations. You know, like more personal answers. So like you might give a general answer about, you know, oh, my country might not like this or that, or, you know, something like that. But it's more like, how do you feel about an answer? How do you feel about your government or something? Or how do you feel about, you know, that Lego you stepped on this morning? I mean, you know, I'm pretty sure you hated that. How'd you feel about that, bro? You know?
So are you saying that sometimes you could have a discourse over an issue, a topic, a concept, but you try to make it more personable, to try to make it more relatable? Is that what you're trying to say, Tracy?
Yeah, make your answers a little bit more relatable. It's a lot easier to flow with answers if it's more relatable to yourself.
Yeah, I'm learning a lot from you, because I also tend to be conceptual and abstract all the time, and I'm working on making myself more relatable and talking more about my feelings and how much pain I was in this morning when I stepped on a Lego.
Oh, you hate to see it.
All right, a couple of hands have been raised. We're seeing Corzan and the Hunter X. We'll first invite Corzan up. You can ask a question to one of the hosts. Corzan. Hey there. If you're talking, you're muted. Corzan?
Yes, I am talking.
Yes,
So,
you've been muted. We just started to hear you. Hey, how
Hi.
are you?
I'm really good. How about you?
I'm great, thank you. Welcome to the stage.
Yeah, thank you. And this is my first event, so make it memorable for me.
We'll try hard.
Yeah. So my question is for you. What is the best way to help shy people step outside of their comfort zone?
So when I think about shy people, I'm thinking about the surface level work that needs to be done, as well as the deeper level work that needs to be done. And the surface level, when you think about the skills, speaking skills, for example, some people who are not shy, they just can't express their thoughts or opinions freely, linguistic or cognitive skills. And the deeper work is more psychological, is more is something that will take a longer time to do. And for a shy person to move from being shy, or first of all, there's nothing wrong about being shy. It's a personality trait. So first of all, let's get that out of the door. But I think about if there is a speaking skill issues, practice makes progress. And I asked all the hosts the slogan, and for me, my slogan would be practice makes progress. You will need to, so shy people need to do a lot of speaking practice to make sure that at least the speaking part, the communication part is not inhibiting. And then work on over the longer period, work on the psychological aspects, the deeper work. And for that to happen, a supportive community where they feel that they're not alone. They feel that they can experiment, and one of the hosts talked about the sandbox environment where you can make mistakes. And getting feedback that comes from a loving and nurturing place. And learn from the feedback and continue to iterate and experiment, eventually finding that authentic place. in my opinion, that's the path from being shy in an inhibiting way to being shy in a highly performing and productive way. Corzan,
Yes, thank you very much.
you're very welcome. Any other question? Okay. I'll move Corzan back to audience, and one more hand. Who is the next? I believe that was Hunter X. Yes, Hunter X.
Hello,
Hey.
am I audible?
Yes,
Hi.
you are.
Well, thank you for hosting this beautiful event, firstly. Secondly, my question is, I wanted to target a few people, but I'll just make it into one person. Janelle, do you have snacks that you try your best to eat while hosting an event? And do you stay hydrated while hosting an event? Gotta go lighthearted.
Wow,
I love
that's
the
thank you.
question.
Thank you for the question. That's really funny. I don't so usually because the time of my event, I go home from work, I eat an early dinner, and then I focus on the event, and I've done everything. I mean, because after that, I know I tend to extend. After that, I don't like eating a late dinner. It's not, so no snacks. Not I'm done with all the food and for that day. Sometimes I have tea or a hot drink, but that's it.
Thank you for the
Thank you,
answer.
Hunter.
No problem. And I'm sorry for intruding a little bit. Sorry, Yang, but I just wanted to say thank you all for being great hosts. I really enjoy my time here. I can go on, but I'd rather to keep that at a later time. Thank you for this event. Thank you all. You all have greatness inside of you. Thank you for sharing that. And that's it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Hunter X. Audience, if you're still with us, lots of hearts. For Corzan, I forgot that Corzan who asked the question, and again for Hunter X for asking questions, and I echo Hunter X. Lots of hearts to the hosts on the stage today. You see the hearts? There's so many heart emojis on this server. Pick your favorite heart and send lots of them. I'll move Hunter X back to the audience. Hunter X, are you sure you don't have another question?
Oh, I don't have any other questions. I wanna thank you all more, but this is an event. I have to respect you all, so I'll move on. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, I have one more hand before we wrap up. Barna Bash, welcome to the stage.
Hey everyone.
Hi.
So I would have a question for you, Ying.
Okay.
So, I think you're definitely aware of this, that a lot of people here in this community have complimented your voice, on like being very clear, smooth, and just very, very easy to understand, some people even thinking you're an AI, to that extent. And I'm curious, I think I can think of the reason why, probably. I still want to ask, was this something natural you had, this type of voice? Or did it used to be very different before? And you had to put in a lot of work and development and change it from scratch? And if yes, if you had to put in all that work to reach this, what contributed the most development to this kind of voice? I think many people would like to have voice this clear. So I'm wondering. So 2 questions, basically.
Okay, there are a lot of aspects to that. So one, why my voice sounds like an AI. And 2, voice as its natural traits, which is born, and my mom sounds like this. I sound like this. And I bet when my grandma, when she was young, she sounded like this. And there's also how to be clear. So there are 3 ways of. First of all, why do I sound like an AI? I speak English as a second language, and my native tongue, Mandarin, is it's a language system. The phonetics, each syllable is enunciated individually, and that contributed to me when I speak English. I enunciate each syllable clearly and individually. So that definitely had an impact on me sounding like an AI. That's the influence of my native tongue. As for my voice, that's born, and there is pros and cons for sounding like this. The pros is people say that I sound soft and sweet, and the cons is I don't sound as mature or executive in the professional setting, and people don't take me as seriously as people who have a richer or deeper voice. And the third question, yeah. And the third question about speaking clearly, I tend to speak slower, so I guess that contributed it.
Right. Yeah, there's often been, this thought in my head that like you could work really well as like the Alexa AI, just ask a question, and I could imagine this voice. I think it's just so clear, everybody can understand it.
I'm getting it every day. Are you AI?
I can imagine.
Are you using a voice changeover? I didn't know even that's a thing that people can change their voice with AI. Yeah, I get that every day.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you have another question?
You might be sick of this question.
Not sick of, but I have considered creating a shorthand. But then I'm thinking that's a little too narcissistic.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's it. I can't come up with another question right now. So that's it.
Oh, thank you, Barnabas. You are the last audience member that will be for this event, and we're gonna wrap things up.
Ooh,
I wanna.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being on the stage. Excellent question. Gives me an opportunity to clear the cloud. Yay. That concludes the Q&A session. And everyone on the stage, we want to wrap things up. I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to all of our hosts on the stage. Bose has left due to technical difficulties, so it's Liam, Bose, Janelle, Winnie, Jarif, and Trissy. Thank you for sharing your insights, experiences, and the vision for the Mouthfuls. Please, a lot of hearts for the hosts on the stage for taking time out of their weekend to share with us their experiences and insights. Also, thank you, audience members. Thank you for engaging with us with your insightful questions. Thank you. This has been a really, really nice session. It allows us hosts who don't show up at the same time to be together. And I really liked that a lot. I hope it provided a deeper understanding of what makes this platform so unique. Honestly, I meant what I said at the beginning about these are the people and the voices who made the Mouthfuls so unique. All of you stay tuned for future events, and I will make an effort, thanks to some feedback from our active members, to host more stage events just like this one. Thank you all for showing up. Bye-bye. Hosts on the stage, any final words to say the farewells and thank yous? Liam?
Yeah.
I just thank you everybody for coming today, and I can't wait and look forward to hearing from you in the upcoming events.
Janelle?
Yes, thank you to all the participants and to you, Ying, for giving us this opportunity.
Oh, you're
See you
welcome.
guys around.
That was fun. I enjoyed it. Winnie? Can anyone hear Winnie? Knock, knock. No? Okay. No. Okay, I also couldn't hear Winnie. Jarif? Farewells and
Yeah.
thank yous.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it was fun, and I thank you for hosting this event, and also for having me. And yeah, thanks everybody for being with us. It was really fun. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Jarif. And the last but not the least, Trizzy.
I love everybody here. You know what I'm saying? Glad I got to meet you all and have a lot of fun in this server and all that stuff. We're going to make more memories. That's all I know.
We certainly will. More memories. Hunter X, you raised your hand again. Final words.
Yes, this will take at least 2 minutes. I apologize. I will speak as an audience for now. So, I apologize first, but I really want to say this. So, I joined here by the sheer luck of meeting an amazing person called Ying on some random server. I was invited and I was presented with my fear of communicating when I joined this server, only to be met with kindness and acceptance. I can't remember my first event, but I definitely remember every host I've had an event with. I remember how open you guys were. I remember how attentive you all were. I remember how accepting you all were. I can go on and on about all the positives you all bring. But that would take me a whole month to do, to be honest. I also wanted to say that, of course, we're not all perfect. I certainly am not. I'm sure the host feels similar. The listeners too, probably. Nonetheless, this is why we are here. This is why we have gathered this server in the Mathfuls. We learned a lot. We're learning now, and we will continue to learn until we are able to express the deepest thoughts in our minds and hearts. Thank you for giving us the amazing chance to express ourselves, hosts. Thank you for making this majestic, beautiful place, Ying. We are lucky to have your greatness in our lives. Thank you, and that's it.
Oh, wow. Well, couldn't have ended with a better note. It's just such a high note. I was tearing up and smiling at the same time, and I bet the rest of the hosts are. So many hearts for Hunter X. Thank you for such beautifully said words. Thank you so much. Hearts for Hunter X. And by the way, P.S. I'd liked to go around on random servers to scout podcast voices, and Hunter X was one of my treasure finds. Alright, bye everyone. Thank you for showing up, and I promise we will have more of these podcast-like stage events in the future. Stay tuned. Bye everyone. Bye.